Hi, this is Jody Shaw. I work in the Department of Residence Life in the Division of Student Affairs at Smith College. I have not been very active on YouTube the past couple weeks because I've been so busy talking to so many people who've reached out to me, including Smith staff and faculty. And I want to say I'm really honored to hear your stories, and I appreciate you feeling like you could share those stories with me. A little update on me. I was placed on paid administrative leave a couple weeks ago, pending an investigation. Smith is calling it an impact assessment investigation. And the allegations are really not important or really interesting because in my mind, it's obviously a retaliatory behavior against me for speaking out about what I think is discriminatory behavior and organizing for a better workplace for staff. So that's the update, and I will keep you posted about my status. Today I wanted to talk about what happened when I went to file my complaint at Smith College internally, my complaint of racial discrimination and hostility. So I went to see the institutional compliance officer. She works in the Office of Equity and Inclusion. This is an individual who has a law degree and ostensibly has knowledge in this area, specifically about Title VII and Title IX. There may be more, I'm not sure. So that's like sexual harassment and civil rights law. And I met with her and I told her what had happened in the library. I told her what happened in residence life. I told her all about everything in between, and also talked about how I felt like July 31st, 2018, the college's response to that incident had really created a hostile work environment in which individual acts of discrimination have flourished. And at some point in the conversation, she said, "Do you believe in white privilege?" And when she asked me that, I felt something in me seize up. Like it was like an instant fear reflex. And I said, "Yes, of course. But blah, blah, blah." So the conversation continued, and she informed me that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was created to protect traditionally marginalized groups of people, which I interpreted to mean that she was telling me it is legislation that does not protect me as a white person, or was not created to protect me or something. And then she also told me that if I proceeded with the investigation, that she would need to hire an outside attorney to process the complaint since she did not have any expertise in this area. And so I asked her about that because I was confused. I said, "Aren't you the person that processes complaints of racial discrimination?" And she said, "Yeah, but this is different because you're white." And I pushed her on that a little bit. I said, "Wouldn't it be the same exact process as any other person of any other color that comes to you with a complaint of racial discrimination?" And she said, "Well, no, because this is reverse discrimination, or you're alleging reverse racism, so it's different." So by the time we had gotten to this point in the conversation, which was really near the end of the conversation, I had had a chance to reflect a little more carefully on my response to the white privilege question. And I said, I feel like when you asked me that question about white privilege, I don't think I responded honestly. I feel like I just said yes out of fear. And I'm trying really hard to be honest from now on. So I want to tell you that my honest response to that question is, I don't know. And, she said, okay. And then the conversation ended a little while later. And the reason I'm thinking about this question now is because I was asked it recently. In an interview, I was asked, or a different version of it, which is, do you believe white people have an advantage in a majority white society? And the same thing happened. I seized up, I had this fear reflex, and I just said yes, because I felt it wasn't even it wasn't even a thought process. It was like a reflex. And I remember feeling it and not being able to stop it. And so this has really given me pause because I am now being very vocal. I'm making these videos and I'm ostensibly now outside the ideology and kind of looking at it from a different vantage point. And still, I have this fear inside me that's kind of short-circuiting my ability to respond to the question in a grounded, honest, thoughtful way. And so what this tells me is that this fear is significant, and I think it is a linchpin of this ideology. I think that this fear, which is quite primal, I think, this ideology kind of hooks into it, and that's how it is so powerful and effective, and that's how it kind of spreads and keeps people in line, for lack of a better phrase. And so I've been thinking a lot about this fear, and I'm going to talk about it more in another video because it deserves a whole nother video, because I think it's a critical component of this ideology. But in this video, I just wanted to talk more about that question. Do you believe in white privilege? So the first thing is, it's really interesting how that question is phrased. It's phrased as if, do you believe, as if it's a matter of faith, which implies that if you believe in it, then it exists for you. And if you don't believe in it, then it doesn't exist. But that's not actually the case. Either it exists or it doesn't, just like anything else. And in reality, if the question is, does white privilege exist? Meaning, do you have special advantages or privileges or immunity based on your skin color, based on being white? Nobody can know that. I can't know that, and neither can Smith College. Really, there's no empirical evidence that we have to support a notion like that. So really, the only way I can answer that question is if I ground it in my own experience. So my response to, do you believe in white privilege, or does white privilege exist, is, in my experience at Smith College, my skin color has not only not been a privilege or not conferred on me privileges, it has in fact been a liability. And this is not a matter of opinion. This is actually grounded in evidence. I was told in the library, I was told in residence life, I have seen my colleagues discussing other things about other white people. And I was essentially told when I went to file my complaint that my white skin, or white skin in general, is something different, and is a legitimate reason for us to treat you differently, or think of you differently, or a reason for you not to do something, or a reason to shame you, or for you to say things a certain way, or whatever it is. So I actually have, that's evidence to back up my claim, or my opinion. It's not really even an opinion, it's a claim that my white skin has been a liability at Smith College. And so if somebody asks you this, and I suspect maybe a lot of you do get asked this, then I think it's good to start with your personal experience. I don't know. Do you think your white skin has conferred on you special privilege? And might there be evidence that in fact it's the opposite? And also, if you're being asked this question at all, regardless of your skin color, if somebody's asking you, do you believe in white privilege, or does white privilege exist? I'm guessing that it probably indicates that you are in an environment in which not only is it not a privilege, but it is a liability, just by virtue of somebody asking that kind of question. That's my speculation. So that's what I have to say about the question, do you believe in white privilege? I hope that was helpful. I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about it lately and why I have such fear in responding to that question. So I hope that I've managed to be more honest here about that. And I'm always striving. And by the way, I'm trying to read the comments now to videos. So if you leave me a comment, I'll try to respond to you. And that's it. Let's keep talking. And I will be making another video soon about the fear stuff. Signing off, Jody Shaw.